Hello and welcome back to Music is the Drug, the Cowboy Junkies podcast. I'm Dave Bowler and I wrote the biography of Cowboy Junkies, Music is the Drug. Breathing is a song that featured on the Ghosts album, one that came out digitally as the world slipped into lockdown in 2020. Even for a band that deals so much in very personal songs, Breathing really did cut to the bone, as Michael Timmins explains.
So this is part of the Ghosts, the Ghosts, what do you call it? It's not a trilogy, it's 4 songs, a quadrology. And it's about our mom and about her death. And, she died of a lung disease. So breathing was a big part of the last few years of her life, but certainly the last few months, last few weeks for sure. And so it sort of comes down to, so that's the literal side of the song. And then breathing is sort of also, breathing is that's life. That's everything. Without it, we don't exist. So it feeds into that too. And then there's some lyrics in this song that are quite descriptive of actual events, and actual thoughts that happened certainly in the last week or so of her life. And so it's definitely a very intense song. We've been playing it live now, so we've been playing the last couple of tours, and we'll continue for a little while. We've been playing some of these songs live, some of the Ghost songs. We've done a 3-song medley, and Breathing is in the center of them. And so it's been interesting to play it, and for Margot to find her way into it again. And but yeah, definitely a difficult song to record for sure. But it was important for us to do it and make the statement. And it's these records and these songs are kind of part of our memory, right? Like that we can go back to these, a decade from now and listen to that, and I can remember the moments where these lyrics came from and where the song came from, and connect them to my mother. So it's kind of a really beautiful thing too.
Musically, Ali is absolutely exceptional on this thing. I think the bass as well as the keyboard stuff.
Yeah, I mean the music is all Al really until we jam out at the end. Like the bass and piano is Al, right? And he came up with those parts, and then I wrote the lyrics to the music. And when we went to record it, we put those parts down first, and then I kind of thought there's no reason to add anything else. I added some sort of atmospherics with sort of feedbacky guitar stuff, but there was no real reason to add anything else. And because it just sort of it's pretty dramatic, so but necessarily so it's a really beautiful piece of music that he came up with.
It took a while to get to that point, because we're trying to look for an atmospheric foundation. So that's where we ended up, but where it ended up felt right. It's pretty obviously dark song, and the sound of it has to somehow be as dark, but still uplifting in a way to make it listenable, I guess.
I remember when we were talking when we were doing the book about Follower 2, and because I just lost my dad at that point, and one of the verses, I can barely stand to watching Breathing, which because my dad died from lung cancer, so that struck me. And I know you were talking about your son, but it's that guitar in the last section that it's kind of a gentle clang. It slices right through you. It's that cold grip of fear that you get on your chest, in your heart when that's happening. It's an amazing piece of playing.
Is this the time we say goodbye? Or is it see you Wednesday night?
Oh, Good. Thank you. Thank you. It's funny because that playing there is not really my style. In a weird way, it's more of my older brother's John's style, and who played with the band. Who we jam with, and who certainly played in the very early days of the band. He played with us. So, and it's much more when I hear it, it's like that's not me. And now when we go to play it live, I can't reproduce it. I can't play it. Like it's very weird. So when I was doing the part, it just flowed into me, and I can't figure out how I played it. Like the rhythm is not mine, like the approach. So it's kind of interesting. So it's funny you say that. So maybe it was, there's some sort of, so I was channeling something there for sure.
As you say, I mean, for Margot to sing it and to get through it, I mean, that's a real test as well.
I watched your chest and stomach heaving. I know this is not right. Did you know that you were leaving when you were sitting there that night?
It was very difficult. It was like, when we did the Demon sessions, when we were singing some of Vic's songs, those were intense songs in different ways. This was obviously quite raw, still very raw, and a lot of these words and situations too related to Margot's finals experience with my mom too. So yeah, it was pretty intense. And I think I remember her doing a take and saying, "Okay, I'm never going to sing that song again." So it's like, so yeah, it was pretty intense for sure.
You can still get one of the very limited edition double vinyl packages of Ghosts and All That Reckoning from the band at cowboyjunkies.com. But getting quick, there are only a very few copies left. Sharon, the new limited edition vinyl release from the band, is on sale at cowboyjunkies.com too, along with their most recent studio recording, Songs of the Recollection. The authorised biography Music is the Drug is available from there as well. Did we say it'll soon be Christmas? The Junkies are back on the road with tour dates coming up all over Europe, in Australia and New Zealand, plus a special New Year's Eve show in Saratoga. Keep checking the website for news of those shows. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, like it, share it, add reviews, and do all those other social media things which are going to help spread the word. We've got to boost those numbers. If you're a Spotify user, you can follow our growing podcast playlist, and all the details of that, everything else, is in the show notes. We'll see you next week.
Ghost